Good morning, my name is Kirsty Dignam and I'm here to look at the weekly energies with today's Monday's Musings on the 1st of June. Happy new month to anybody that is tuning in whenever and wherever you are tuning in from. Yeah, which feels really, really important. I have to be mindful, my microphone doesn't always pick up what I'm saying. The moment we make space for the information trying to come through is going to do so in a clear, potentially jovial fashion. But the key is making space. Now, I don't mean sitting, crossing your legs and meditating with a journal in your hand, although I do hear why not, and it is something I tend to do on a regular basis, minus the crossed legs so much. What I mean is making space for what wants to come in. Now, what wants to come in isn't what is already there, right? Bit of common sense here. So what wants to come in is going to be different from what is already there, whether that's thoughts, whether that's our actions, whether that's the information that we're connecting to. And it does feel light. It does feel quite jovial, but again, are we willing to make space for that? I'm going to introduce this video by asking you how your dreams have been on all levels. That full moon that has just happened was a very odd one, actually, because I, on one hand, expected more. There was so much guidance coming in around things that would leave us not looking at the world in the same eyes, shall we say. But everything kind of petered out, became embodied. Everything kind of integrated. Okay, so I was expecting this huge shift in perception without giving credit to what had already occurred. Okay, and that feels really poignant for the next few weeks ahead, particularly in line with the new moon, which I haven't looked into yet. The other thing with the full moon, my dreams have gone through the roof. Okay, I literally through my own roof. They have, on another level, been very detailed, very in-depth and very clear in their message. Last night I dreamt of animals, so too did my husband. Now the reason that I share that is the animals that we both dreamt about were very relevant to the medicine wheel that I work with. So I dreamt of what I believed was jaguar. It wasn't, it was a leopard, so it was jaguar in disguise. Okay, dreamt of mirrors, dreamt of being attacked, and very faceted dreams that are coming up, things that are coming to the surface to be seen from the subconscious, from within. The key is here, from within. Okay, so whilst I expected these huge shifts externally, of course they will only ever happen based on the level that we're willing to accommodate them from within, which means things will move for us also internally, particularly subconsciously. My husband dreamt of an eagle that he was protecting. And then yesterday I received messages about hummingbird and found a pair of hummingbird earrings out of the quote-unquote blue. So that's 3 of the 4 major archetypes on my own medicine wheel. The one that I was waiting for, that still has kind of made itself known but not, is the serpent. Sachamama, the ability to shed our skin in one movement. Yeah, the ability to really take this layer off now, this illusion off now that we may have about ourselves or the world that we live in one smooth movement. There's a lot of common misconceptions with that it's just, okay, what is one moment? What is one moment but a collection of moments? So what I'm getting at here is the shifts that are coming in don't have to be these almighty illuminations that, quote unquote, wake us up, for want of a better phrase, that just, now it's not to say that they won't be, but think of the Tower card. Okay, I won't be surprised if it comes up in the reading this week, but think of the Tower card. Yes, it can be that bolt out of the blue, depending on our level of awareness. So an example, there's a few things coming up my end around protection, around recognizing things aren't what they seem, around looking at my own reflection, and reflection that has been given to me to carry that I no longer wish to. Not staying in my lane as such, but recognizing the dream that I am here to dream, because we're all here to dream different parts of this huge vision. Okay, and sometimes because they're so similar, because our dreams are part of this, think of a tree that has all these branches with all these leaves, right? The tree is a tree and we are all part of it. But we're all individual leaves and we're all individual branches and we're all individual in our roots and where we come from and the energy that we need to continue to grow. We all offer different things as a result. So that can be a bit confusing, particularly when we look around and think, that's exactly the same as what I'm doing. It isn't. And the reason that it isn't is because you're not the same as anybody else. I'm not the same as you, you're not the same as me. That doesn't mean that we're not here to dream something bigger than us that will be very, very similar, because it's part of a bigger vision, but your part in it is completely different to mine. And that's the beauty of it, because that's when I learn from you, you learn from me, and vice versa. And the potential of what is trying to come in has space, not space that is dictated of how it needs to be based on our own individual role in it, but space to be what it needs to be for everybody so that it can really flourish. So what is it? Wow. That is going to be individual for us all, but it is about bringing in this. I'm seeing a lot around the prophecies of late, the 7 generation prophecies, and really, really pleased to see that a lot of the things that are being shared are, yes, white buffalo calf woman prophecy, the East meets the West prophecy, the Mayan prophecies, the forgive me, there are so many prophecies. But what they all seem to have in common at the moment is one thing: to know this. Our part is still part of the prophecy. Our role is still part of making that a potential in our actions. So again, how are your dreams? On all levels, not just the ones in your subconscious. Some of the things that are rising. I'm going to do a 20-minute video on Instagram, and probably the energies for the week will continue on to YouTube, just to make that clear now, so that I'm not rushing. The information that wants to come through, it isn't about rushing it. It isn't about dragging it out either. What's the difference? We make it relatable, okay? Because there's so much available. Discernment is its relatability to where we are, okay? So again, how are your dreams? It's wonderful to have these huge visions and purposes. That's what I hear, these purposes. But are they getting in the way of themselves? Are we tripping up over our own feet? Are we getting so enthralled in where something could go that we're not coming back to putting things in place to make sure that it's going to happen? An example. A lot of what I offer is very similar to other people, and I too get very confused and think, right, I need to do it in this way. And it's great because I learn. Hey, as long as we learn, as long as we get to experience this, is wonderful. As long as we are growing as a result, wonderful. This weekend I did a sound bath in my garden, hence why my skin is more red than normal. Sound bath and some yoga sessions and some crystal grid building with my niece in my garden. And the sound bath was going to be at the hub, but I didn't have enough attendees to cover the costs. The reason I did it at the hub is because everybody does it at hubs or churches, and I fell into the trap of believing that's how it needed to be. Doing it in the garden, the feedback was much better. I had more attendees than was planned, and I excelled in the environment I was supposed to be in. Okay, when you're in that nurturing space of being able to be who you are, because that's why you're here type energy. Now I am, for the most part, who I am wherever you put me. It's kind of been an ongoing thing that I'm trying to make my purpose and help other people to have the permission to do that just by watching me do it as such. However, we can be who we are wherever we may be, but there's a real difference between that and then being in the environment that appreciates it. Yeah, being in the environment that wants it, that respects that wants what you have to offer. So again, how are your dreams? How are you in this moment in relation to them? My dream has always been to offer this home from home type experience for people, whether that's in my actual home or whether it's in a centre, or, this place where people can just come and be themselves and learn from each other and grow from each other. Was I offering that in the environments? No, because I wasn't quite in that space as much as I could be. What I'm getting at here is this isn't about sticking in your lane. This isn't about you can't do what someone else is doing. Of course, we all can. It's the age-old saying that I always use when I talk about sound. A saxophone is not a flute, right? If you're a saxophone, be a saxophone with every ounce of your being. And if you're a flute, be a flute. The music is the same, absolutely. Underneath it all, we're all the same. Our potential is the same. But that potential is to excel at who you are, not at who someone else is, or who other people think you should be, or even how we think we should be. So, anything else on that? Yes, there are going to be some familiar cycles rising. They're not going to be familiar in the sense that they're occurring to us, though. We are going to be made more aware of the impact that they're having in our environment now, because there's been a level of healing. Just have a drink. I'm on the herbal tea. I'm detoxing as from today, just for a couple of days. Give myself a bit of a flush, a cleanse through. Because it does feel like we are at a turning point. It really, really does feel like we are at a turning point from now until the new moon, to make the most of that. The full moon, the impact of it isn't going to be obvious straight away, particularly if we're not at the level of being able to receive it and its wisdom and its messages and insights and the things that have moved. We're not going to see that in ourselves as much because there's been a lot of things shifting. It's going to be externally. We're going to see how we can impact that environment. An example, this morning I went out to the back garden. There was a new cat in the garden. I have 2 kittens and they're named after Jaguar. So I have Otto and I have Ronnie after Otto Rongo. Now Otto is very savvy, street savvy, she kind of had to be. She's the older of the 2 and she's had to be quite defensive from the beginning. When this new cat came in, she was hissing at him. She was guarded. She was, get out of my garden. And then Ronnie, as always, she's the younger. She's the more carefree. Otto's kind of looked after her. She's kind of laid back and just let her sister do it all. So Ronnie was very curious. She had the freedom to be curious without the history of being on guard. I, as their guardian, welcomed this cat into the garden, and I'm still reflecting on that because I welcomed the cat in and I stroked the cat because I wanted them to be able to socialise together. However, when the cat left, Ronnie left with the cat and wasn't welcomed in the same way in this cat's own environment. The cat, quite rightfully so, became very territorial, very boundaried, and attacked Ronnie. And she now has a swollen right eye. It's okay and it's going down and she can open it, but she has a swollen right eye, which is our masculine, right? Her actions blinded her just temporarily. She couldn't open her eye. Now she will learn from this, and she's not an indoor cat, so she will continue to be curious and to explore, but she will always have that memory of it, which is her journey. However, as her guardian, there have been many times when I have allowed people into my home and then expected the same in return and been attacked as a result. Whilst I'm aware of that, I wasn't aware of the impact that that has on those around me, like my cats, who are very open. Well, Ronnie was very, very open, following my lead. And that's the key, following my lead. So this week, when we're looking for the serpent, yeah, the only serpent I have seen is with a drum today, and it's been painted on, and it wasn't real. It wasn't real. So be mindful of rhythms that aren't relatable anymore. When we're looking for the serpent, when we're looking for the story that is to be shed, it's in the present moment. Okay, so it's in the direction of the present moment, being with what is happening around us on a far greater, expansive level of observation. Not being with it and separate from it, being with it, in it, observing it, and recognizing our role as a result. Is that going to be easy? Well, on the one hand, everything kind of happens for a reason, okay? And the reason is determined by us and what we discover from that. So I will not change being open. I don't want my kittens to be on guard all the time, but there does need to be a balance. And that's what's really heading us towards the solstice, of course, because of that need for balance, that light and darkness. The discernment of what we choose to do with that, how able we are to stand in those energies. So again, coming back to the dream, always come back to the dream. If you're not sure, come back to the dream. The guidance this morning for the collective was to finish what we came here to do. Now that doesn't always mean this big out there purpose. That could be you've put the kettle on and got distracted. Go and finish what you came here to do. When we're distracted from whatever it is we were creating, we're not in the moment. So finish what you came here to do, every single step. Make the tea, say the thing, go for the walk, start the detox, make that phone call to the person that you've been wanting to talk to, start the course, build the dream, whatever, but recognize that every step is vital within it. So finish what you started. Finish what you started this week. How are we doing? 17 minutes. So I'm going to leave it there for Instagram. I'm going to look into the energies this week and how to best navigate them. But I'm going to carry that onto YouTube so that we can go at the pace that is needed for the information to come through to make that space for something different. So if you're done here, great. I'll see you next week with a few musings. If not, head on over to YouTube for the rest of the energies and how to best navigate them. And yeah, I shall see you next week. Okay, so for those that are on Instagram, Spotify, TikTok, if possible, because even TikTok has its restrictions. What? Yes, even TikTok has its restrictions. The platform that is fun, that is short, that is snippets of the world, has its restrictions also. So, depending on what they are, I shall see you where I see you. I'm going to use 2 decks this week. I'm going to look at the energies day by day, but also the Shaman's Dream Oracle by Alberto Villoldo and Colette Baron Reed. The reason I'm going to share these ones is, again, how are your dreams? We are all sacred dreamers, dreaming in the world, dreaming the world into being. So what is that dream? What is this collective dream that we are all dreaming? Well, let's have a look. And that's important, isn't it? It's one thing to have all these prophecies, even it's one thing to think, yes, we're all dreaming this world into being. Oh, that's wonderful. It's a beautiful, beautiful cliche bumper sticker for our car, isn't it? Dreaming the world into being. But what is that? What does that look like? How does that feel? Creativity is a beautiful, free-flowing energy, but that doesn't mean it doesn't have structure. It's like chaos. It's like the Tower card. These things have structure. They have patterns. They have cycles. They have codes, thank you, yes, that need deciphering now from within us. Making space for these unravelings. I see the 528 of the 528 hertz of the sound of the solfeggio scale. And it's the of the musical scales, and it's the unraveling of the DNA. It's the unraveling of the DNA. What I'm seeing is the DNA has been so constricted, so tight, so bombarded, so, what's the word? It's not controlled. immature. So immature and coiled, like a snake all coiled up. It needs to relax. It needs to have a moment. We need to have a moment where we're not bombarded with information. Look, this video included. Take what you need. Let go of the rest. Where we're not bombarded with ideas, particularly those that are actually the same when we get to the bottom of it. Creativity is a beautiful thing, but a lot of the ideas are all headed towards the same thing. So just giving space once a day for something new to come in, because giving that space is allowing our DNA. We talk about the brainwaves having the gaps in between for new information, but our DNA, our physical body, needs a rest to allow all of that to just unravel. We don't want to be a coiled tension snake all of our life. Just relax and allow it to unravel. Yeah, of course. And the card that we have here, the collective dream, is heart home or compassion. So it's that 528 hertz again. It's love. I know that love isn't always a appreciated terminology. There is no other word that I can think of for the information that's trying to come through. So this week, get over what something is called. Whether that's artificial intelligence or love or other life forms or the dream, the purpose, that get over the name. There's too much emphasis on the name. What's the common theme throughout it all? What is love? What is compassion? This isn't the word. The word isn't enough anymore. It's okay to say things. Are we embodying that? Are we living that? Are we showing that to ourselves? This is our first home, our physical body. Then to the earth around us, that's our second home. Then, of course, we have our homes and our communities and our families. But bringing it back, when we say come back, come home, bring things back, presence, what is that? It's in the heart space. Look, we're in the year of the horse. And yes, the horse is about power. Yes, the horse is about speed. But anyone that has spent time with horses, quality time with horses, will know that the horse is about the heart. It is their biggest, their electromagnetic field is incredible. It's how they can pick up a fly landing, or just before it's landed on them, they can pick it up because of this energetic field. It is love. Now, if ever a creature could embody such power for something that is often downplayed because of the immature way that we express it verbally, that's all it is. The word love doesn't give it the oomph that it actually is, the frequency that it actually is. Stand near a horse. Stand near a horse and tell me that the heart coherence isn't powerful. I dare you. That's what we're being asked to come back to. Why is that important? When we come back to that energy, these shifts, these snake moments, this shedding of our skin is constant. When we say it's in one movement, it doesn't mean we have one thing that changes us. It means it's constant. So that detox that gets started, that form that gets filled, that cup of tea that gets finished, that you sit down and actually drink and have that presence with, they all become part of this change. And that tower card moment, that second blue moon, all of those things, yes, they don't feel as large anymore because they were always occurring in the surface, underneath, in our cellular remembrance. So the heart home is the collective dream. What do we have here? Let's see what is written. It is written. Okay. When you begin to feel like you do not belong anywhere, it's time to make your way back to the heart home. This is your true home. You are being called back to the quiet place where your soul resides. Put everything on hold for a short while. You are being offered the experience of love in its purest form, unconditional and unbounded. This is not the love you must work hard to earn or barter for. Drop into the heart space and rest there for a breath or two. Replace your judgment of yourself and others with compassion. Really, it is that easy when heart home shows up. There is no need to forgive anyone for anything. None of it occurred in spiritual truth. It is only your belief in that story that makes it so powerful. Allow your love to wash clean all those impressions. Empty yourself of all judgment and preconception, and allow Spirit to fill you with the sweet nectar of peace. When Heart Home shows up, it is imperative that you heed its call, lest the universe orchestrate a way to bring you back to yourself that is of a harsher nature. Now, look, there are some knee-jerk moments in that for me. Absolutely. There's no need to forgive anyone for anything. None of it has occurred. It's only our belief in the story that makes it so powerful. These can be very triggering words, very triggering times, very expansive opportunities to look at what we do believe. I'm not suggesting you have to believe what's in that card or me, but acknowledge what you do believe. Witness the undercurrent, at times underhanded energy that may be flowing through you. What has it served up until this point? Does it bring you back to a place within your heart that brings peace and compassion for yourself? There's no point trying to forgive or not forgive if we cannot be with that energy within ourselves. Everything starts from within. Even the dream, especially the dream we are trying to dream, it starts from within. Like the snake eating its own tail, okay? Everything comes from within. So again, I ask you, how are your dreams? How are you in your ability to make space for them, to become them? I know that the version of me that is doing what I would long to be doing on a grander scale, because that's important as well, recognizing what you are doing and how relevant it is to what you would be doing on a grander scale anyway. They're one and the same for many, not for everyone. Interesting. Okay, there are moments of truth and discernment needed this week as well. Yes, we may feel as if we are completely off the path, because we are. Okay, so really getting honest and true. We're in Gemini season. We're in those, the swords in the tarot. We're in those clear cutting, defining moments of being honest and true with ourselves. Acknowledge what you are doing and how relatable that is to the dream that you have. Ensure what you're not doing, or whatever is taking you away from what you want to be doing, has its time, brings forward anything you need to know, and then moves on. Yes, the snake eats its own tail, but that can be quite a repetitive pattern and cycle as well. There's a difference between a circle and a spiral. Okay, just like there is with the DNA. Okay, is it bringing forth change in you, in your life? If it doesn't, it's not going to bring forth change in your environment, because you're part of your environment. You're an ecosystem. Okay, you are part of your environment. So again, yeah, bringing it back to how are your dreams, and how are you in your ability to dream them, to create them, and do you know what they are? Do you know what they are? If not, come back to the heart, because sometimes things change. Or at least our perception and awareness of them changes. From there, you'll come back to your own identity, your own unique blueprint, and that is what it's all about. Coming back to our own unique blueprint. It isn't as remembered as we think it is. Look, I can take that on board myself 100%. When you think you've done the quote unquote work and you're getting there, and actually there's another layer and another unraveling to be discovered. Check your attitude with that this week. It can be exciting, it can be fun, just like the information coming in, if we make space for that in our life. if we look at something and think, oh god, this again, that's all you're going to get. That's all you're going to get. If we look at something and think, what's different about this? Chances are there may be something different about it. Okay, energies this week. I'm just thinking maybe do some musings without the cards, but I have done that before, so it's not different. And I'm not prepared to do that, not today. Energies this week and how to best navigate them. And you can say no. This is the thing with creativity and spirituality to an extent. Okay, now If we spend too long avoiding what we're here to do, it's going to get bloody uncomfortable. It's going to get bloody uncomfortable. Think shamanic illness, think, well, the system breaking down, you know, it's going to get really uncomfortable. However, we all need to be in a nurturing space to create with the beauty that it can be. So you can say no. If all the ideas are coming in too much, jot a few down. I will come back to that. Spirituality, creativity, one and the same, right? So let's just, that's the angle that I'm coming from. So if I say spirituality, I also mean creativity. I mean life. Okay, it's all pouring in. They are one and the same, okay? But they do require that we have a life. They're not separate from it. They're not separate from living our life. Okay, they're embodied. Okay, so this is where we're going to go. There are a lot of people that are feeling disillusioned with what is going on in regards to their spiritual path, their spiritual growth, their spiritual identity, as if it is something separate from who they are. It isn't, of course. What has happened is a confusion with the tools that has helped people to become more spiritual or to connect to their spirituality. So there are things that people once utilized and relied on, shall we say, like meditation, tarot, sound, healing, crystals, that were only ever there to bring you home to yourself. All of these things are only ever there to bring you home to yourself. So if you are finding yourself disillusioned with those quote unquote tools, that doesn't mean be disillusioned with who you are. It means you have grown. Give thanks to everything that has got you to where you are. It doesn't mean letting go of everything. It doesn't mean that you are no longer spiritual or no longer interested. It just means you have reached a point where that has become embodied and you are naturally on the hero's quest, searching for something new. Now, the something new is important. The something new isn't that you are searching for something outside of you. Even on the hero's journey, it's not about searching outside of you. The journey is to discover another level of yourself. So if you are feeling disillusioned, what is it about yourself that hasn't grown to the level that you would like it to? That is your responsibility to determine. That is your responsibility to nurture, to fertilize, however you want to fertilize it, with lessons, people, scenarios, however you want to fertilize it. But if you're feeling disillusioned with something externally, bring it closer to home. Bring it closer to home. We have the Seven of Pentacles at the bottom of the pack. Okay, so you couldn't you couldn't make that up. Okay, so the growth is in your own hands, quite literally in your own hands, what you choose to do with this information. We can run around searching what's going on here, what's going on here. Okay, you've got everything you need. What are you going to do with that? How are you going to nurture your environment? How are you going to nurture your family, your relationships, yourself, your body, the earth you walk on, the job that you're part of, the dream that you're trying to dream into being? How are you nurturing that? Right. How are we doing? 33 minutes. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Let's get a little bit more real. I was going to say a little bit real, like it hasn't been intense. Okay, I can feel in the right side of my body almost like an ovulation pain on the collective, like something is trying to be released. Now, when we're releasing something, it's not about getting rid of something. You think of the egg that is being released from the ovary. It's being released, and it's being released to meet something that can then be conceived and created as a result. Half the reason that humankind in particular struggle with letting things go is because even the things we don't want, when we let them go, there's this emptiness, this void, this nothingness, and we're not used to being that beautiful, beautiful, hollow, creative channel. So think of whatever you're releasing now as an opportunity to create space for something different. Let it go and be what it needs to be. Let it go to let it grow. Now that's a better bumper sticker. Let it go to let it grow, or whatever it was I said. When we release, we're creating. I really feel that. We don't always think that. Right now I can see it in many areas of my life, and that's quite emotional. When we're releasing something, we're creating, because it's the next stage of what it's going to be. And yeah, I can really feel that under my ribs, in my solar plexus, this like a letting go of control, but also a real shift in the soul family. So this is our soul energy here as well, a real shift in the soul family dynamics, and in doing so, ability to give and receive and help. Because look, the dream doesn't stop when we stop. The dream doesn't stop when we're no more. It continues. It's that whole 7 generation thing, right? So yeah, there can be times when we think we're doing great things for something different to come in, or for those before us, particularly if we're loyal to patterns that may have outlived their usage, or that may now need to become something else. Okay, so really, really feeling into that this week. You know, I've said it before, all the women in my family are incredibly strong, and that makes it bloody difficult. It does mean that they're trying to bring in something different, which is wonderful. But that different thing, if you're listening, girls, that different thing could be that it doesn't have to be that hard, perhaps. Who knows? But releasing what no longer works, having the courage to feel what no longer works, and releasing that so that it can just become something different. It's not disloyal. It may feel it, but it's not disloyal. On the Monday, we have the 3 of Cups. So we do have that collective deliverance here, and it is from the stars. So that star energy is still around. Okay, right, okay. So what I see is there was a plan. There was a plan to really glorify the whole other life form. There was a plan to really blow it out of the waters. Still lingering, but it's not as strong as it was. To really make it something catastrophic almost. And we've evolved that. Receiving the information, all of us, in our own ways, on the level that we have, it hasn't become that huge, almost warmongering, definitely fear-mongering plan that it was. Instead, there's an energy here of, yeah, we knew that, and we knew in our core that we came from the stars. From a science level, spiritual level, we knew that that was us and us them. You know, the carbon that makes us up and the silica that makes us up is in everything, including the stardust. So the delivery of the information is going to be more creative and more feminine as a result. Have a collective pat on the back. Have a collective pat on the back, actually. On the Tuesday, we then have the Knight of Pentacles. Okay, so these things have shifted. They have changed. Okay, so I've come back to this present moment, and this is what's going on for me. This is what I'm going to take forward. From the year of the horse, we're in the 6th month. We are halfway through. From the year of the horse, this is what I'm going to take forward. And what I forgot to share, no, you're right, failed to share, was something that I've just seen on social media about some horses that have been stabbed in Las Vegas. And then that's where that pain in my ovary is really going some, actually, on the right side. So it's related to our actions. And these horses were stabbed by a fellow competitor. Now, those of you that are in the horse world, in the competitive horse world, I've been there as well as a child, and it is fierce. It is fierce. It is yeah, just on another level. Okay, it is the shadow aspect of the horse year, that competition, that power, that control, and that calling to go to any lengths possible to win. Move on from it. God, for the love of anything, Move on from it. If you take nothing from this video this week but that, move on from it. The horse energy here is guiding us all to come back to the heart, to not force these things anymore that have had their time. The competition, the power games, the control, the separation as a result from ourselves and from each other. Move on from it. I'm seeing that it was in Las Vegas, and obviously that's the place of gambling, isn't it? And I'm seeing that a play on the words with gamble. Pick what is worth gambling. Risk assessment here. Yeah, and I can feel that slowly starting to shift things in the lymph system, in the psyche energy. Risk assessment here. Is it worth the risk? On the Tuesday, decide what you're going to take forward. Everything else is going to fall by the wayside anyway. Release doesn't have to be this big. Oh gosh, I'm seeing it everywhere at the moment. And I'm mindful not to get on my own soapbox here. So whatever works for you, works for you. But release doesn't have to always be this big song and dance. And if anything, what happens there is it's frightening people. It's making people on edge. And when people are on edge, the release can't actually happen. If you look at any creature that is in fear, they cannot give birth safely or with ease and grace. Change is the same. When we're in that fear-based energy, change doesn't happen at the beautiful level that it can. That snake skin comes off in sections. You know, my son used to, well, still has got a snake, and there were a few times she wouldn't eat or drink or care for herself very well. And when she didn't, or it would always be around when we move or when there was change that she couldn't control, or didn't know what was going on, her skin would come off in separate bits, and it didn't look like a process that was as nice as it could have been for her. So in those moments where we feel as if we don't have control, those fear-based moments, that change isn't going to be as deep as we think it is or as it's advertised to be. Release this week, particularly on the Tuesday, is just going to happen through movement. Just walk away from it. Mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually. You know, is this in alignment with that one thing that you're carrying? Is this in alignment with the dream that you are daring to dream? Is this in alignment with you and your heart? And if you're not sure, come back to your heart space. Does this align with what you deem love to be? Compassion to be, whatever that may be for you, because it's a different frequency for us all. Does it open your heart? Does it contract your heart? This is basics now, but it isn't going to be on the level that we're feeling it. It's going to be in our environment. Move on. Release will happen naturally, and it will become something else. It's like seeds here. Gosh, I'm really cutting it fine with the time, but there's a lot of information trying to come through. I went to the car boot yesterday. Got some wonderful instruments for children, because I'm going to be working a lot more with children, which I've said this year. Look, it's 19 as well this year, which is the magician year, which is the sun card. So I have said that this year will be about children and the inner child. If you're not sure what your dream is, come back to what you did in your childhood. Come back to the inner child here, not to fix or sort out, but, you know, have a play date for an hour. Let your inner child guide you. Okay, see where it could take you, because that is the energy trying to come in as well, with more respect for what it actually is, not just this immaturity that needs to be I see the analogy of children should be seen and not heard, and that hasn't actually changed in regards to how we treat our inner child most of the time. So just being with that energy. But I went to the car boot and I picked up some musical instruments, and I picked up some seeds that may or may not grow because they're really, really old, and they were 10p a sachet. And I thought, what have I got to lose in planting these seeds, which is something to take forward? What have you got to lose in giving something a go just for the sheer fun of it? Well, as I was walking around the car boot, there were a few occasions where I felt really, really drawn just to give a pack of seeds to these people that I was interacting with, which is the other side. We are not here to grow things for people. We are here to plant seeds of ideas, of inspiration, and creativity is the same. I get very frustrated sometimes when you know that if things were done a quote unquote certain way, They may be easier for people, but that isn't our job. Let go of the control. Let go of the need to do things for everybody else and stay in your own lane in the most beautiful way, in the environment that needs you there, that appreciates you there. Mine was definitely my family and friends this weekend, and it was, yeah, I really got to embrace a far more beautiful side of myself that I haven't seen for a while, actually. That's the truth. Things have been tough. So, and that's the thing, when you're in those reciprocal relationships, whether it's work or home or family, when you're in those reciprocal relationships, you get to bring back parts of yourself as well. On the Wednesday, we have the Nine of Wands here. And, you know, normally this card is quite a defensive card. I'm just looking at how red my skin is. Oh, that's the light, right? Normally this card is the defensive, quite a defensive card that's been through some interesting times. Okay, but here the fence is really low. We can just walk over it. We can have boundaries in place that help everybody to grow, ourselves included. And that's the invitation on the Wednesday, just to ensure that they do. How? Well, it's the light that's guiding her. It's the light that's guiding her. So feeding into that thing that illuminates your path forward, that illuminates your vision, that illuminates who you are as a person. Let that be your boundary. And if it doesn't do that for you anymore, chances are it's not doing it for anyone else that's involved in that situation either. So just coming back and being honest with yourself on the Wednesday. On the Thursday, we have the King of Pentacles. We have a real grounding here, and what I see is the Akashic, however you want to say it, library. For those that don't know, this is the space of all information. And it's not a hidden place. We can all connect to it, and we connect to it from going within and going up. Okay, always, always, always ground first. The further down you go into your body and into your roots, the higher up you can go. This isn't woohoo, this isn't unknown knowledge, this is common sense. Okay, balance is key. So you really want to figure out something different this week, particularly on the Thursday. Ground into your maturity, ground into your body. And yes, I do see age as well. Ground into your age. Now, I'm not saying grow up. I'm not saying grow up. I'm suggesting grow down. Grow down. Come right down into your body. Come right down into your experiences. See them for the wealth of wisdom that they are. See how they have impacted so many around you. And from there, if you're seeking more. And I do want to say, if you're still seeking more. So if that still isn't enough, look, and I can take this on board myself as well, ground down deeper. Come into the body even more, even deeper. Come into the things that sustain you, that bring you joy, that bring you, I can't help but smile, that bring you light. Come into those things and allow them to help you to grow. You need that in order to reach that information. Okay, it's not that everything is love and light, but everything is real and true. Now, we only experience that with all parts of ourselves, our body included. So down we come into those animal instincts, into that calling of the wild, into those emotions, into that physical sense. Down we come, and down we come, connecting to the earth, connecting to our food, connecting, yes, of course, relationship, in relation with everything that we're doing physically, and at least acknowledge that that is what we're doing. Okay, that is part of this dream that we all hold. Whether you're connecting to angelic realm or tarot cards, what you are connecting to them, which involves physical interaction also. On the Friday, we have the Four of Pentacles. I almost want to skip past the Friday, Saturday, Sunday. One, because of time, but also I just want to skip past them. And this is where the important part comes in. At the end of the week, but also the bits that we want to scoot over. You know, when I used to be a midwife, and even now actually, when people say things to me just as they're walking out the door, that's when we make the most time to listen, because that's normally what someone wants to talk about the whole way through. Okay, so, or wants to share the whole way through. So that bit at the end of the message is normally the bit that's the nugget of it all. Okay, the golden nugget of it all. And we have golden nugget of all. We have 4 of Pentacles, 5 of Cups, and 6 of Pentacles. Okay, so the release here. The release here is recognizing that release isn't to let go. Release isn't about getting rid. Release is a valuable component of flow. Okay, so we release, we make space, we receive. We release, we make space, we receive. This, so you get plants, flowers that release their seeds so that that can then grow. Okay, and when that grows, a bigger community of flowers is built that then nurtures the original. I've said it before and I'll say it again. We are only as healthy as the environment that we find ourselves in. We are only as rich as the environment that we find ourselves in. We are only as connected as the environment that we find ourselves in. And that can make us very, very comfortable and not reaching out. Okay, so we may see things that are uncomfortable. We may see things that aren't as rich or as balanced or as beautiful as we would like, but we are being shown them for a reason. We are being shown them to plant some seeds. We are being shown to nurture them because that's still our environment. The invitation here is to expand our awareness of the world around us. Many are in a little cocoon, and that's okay. It has come from loss, and I hear that. It has come from all of these changes that have occurred. You know, change has always happened, right? But let's get real here. The last 10 years or so, they've been quite monumental for us all on different levels. But the biggest grief now is not living what is left, the life that is left, the life that has been gifted as a result of these things. Friday, we have the 4 of Pentacles. Look at what is restricting you, particularly when it comes to abundance. Yes, this card is physical abundance, money and all those kind of things, but, and don't shirk over that, Kirsty. Okay, so even that as well, really look at that as well. Look at where that may be out of balance in your life. On the Saturday, take a moment to let go of any beliefs, any situations, any opinions, any emotions. Thank you. Yes. That have been handed down to you. Also take a moment to release them back to the earth. What I would suggest is on the Saturday, plant something in their place. Plant something of remembrance in their place on the Saturday. I'm doing a chakra dancing. Oh, of course it's the 6/6 portal. Yes, I'm doing a chakra dancing on the Saturday, and our feet are going to be our prayers. So we are planting all of that energy down into the earth. We're doing it in the garden, down into the earth. So allow the process to complete itself. Let these energies go down through you into the earth. Do something to symbolize that. On the Sunday, there's a return. On the Sunday, there's a return of the work that has been put in. There's a return of the relationships that have been nurtured, and that will be on our own heads. There's a return of the reflections that we need to see to now move forward. There is a return of the wheel, of the whole horse year, of the whole. It's like a pivotal moment here, you know, where the medicine wheel or where the wheel of fortune goes up, it also goes down. So there's going to be a returning of it. And now I see Pachacuti, the world on its head, and it coming upright. Next week's reading is going to be interesting. I can feel it already. Okay, so a few minutes left. We don't have any major arcanas this week. No, none. No, not even at the top. So we can search for major influences or things externally to give us advice and to give us guidance. But the guidance here is to come back home to the physical body, to look at what has grown, to look at what has been delivered and how we're going to move forward from that, to look at perhaps where our boundaries are restricting the light that wants to come in or the light that wants to be shared, to examine the wealth of information that we have gained and ensure that our actions are aligning with it. I always want to pull back from that, to share our wealth. To recognize that the more we share our wealth, the more can be created, the more we can then be part of. To release any beliefs that have stood in the way of this. Yes, we have gained things. Yes, we have learnt things. Let them go so that they can grow into something new. Everything has a process, a beginning, a middle, an end, a beginning, a middle, an end. Grief is no different. Is there anything else this week? Well, let's have one card. Not going to be able to rush it this week or search it out before it's ready. Yeah, we have the Page of Wands upside down and the Six of Wands upright. Any victory here is going to come by placing ourselves in the limelight, ourselves, looking at what we are creating, looking at the environment around us as a result, because it's a little bit skew-if. It's had to be. Things have been upside down for a while, and we've learned a lot about manifestation. We've learned a lot about magic. We've learned a lot about responsibility and law of attraction and da-da-da-da-da. The question is, have we rediscovered that heart, the home of it all? Have we remembered what's inside everything? Have we grown with what we've learned? See you next week. Take care.